Recording progress.
Hilda, you can continue. The meeting is being recorded and I've made you
Hear
host
me now.
so that you can
Okay.
share your screen.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're welcome for the CPD session. We will be talking about anxiety, so which is the most common type of anxiety present. So I it is a response to a threat that is unknown or vague. So to be distinguished with fear, fear arises after one has encountered a fearful situation. That is when fear develops. But when it comes to anxiety, it is just a response to something that is unknown. These people cannot now when we come to generalized anxiety disorder, people might not be able to tell what is making them anxious. So so anxiety itself is classified into 11 types, ranging from separation anxiety disorder to unspecified anxiety disorder. Okay, so today we're going to anxiety disorder, and actually this I think it's the DSM-4 has classified it as a free-floating anxiety because people who have this disorder cannot tell what is making them anxious. They're just worried about almost everything around them, and that's why it is called free-floating anxiety. And then it is marked by persistent and excessive feelings of anxiety, their family. So they can't actually pick something that they're anxious of. Consider to be something like panic disorder or what. So generalized anxiety is people worry about so many things around them. Am I still audible or you guys have lost me?
You're
Hello?
audible, though your internet connection is breaking a little bit, but we can still hear you.
Okay. Okay, so to diagnose someone with generalized anxiety disorder, the symptoms must be present for 6 months or more. So for one to meet that criteria, the symptoms must have been there for 6 months or more. And then the person presenting must have been controlling their worries, so not in their worry. And then there must be at least 3 these symptoms listed down there. So restlessness, being easily fatigued, difficulty concentrating, irritability, muscle tension, and sleep disturbance. So you must have at least 3 of these symptoms to diagnose someone with DA. In fact, and this, as yes, in psychology we do say for a condition to be said that for you to diagnose someone with a condition, it must cause distress and impairment in any part of their social functioning and like general functioning of the person. So it must cause distress and impairment. Also, another DX checklist is disturbance is not attributable to the physiological effects of a substance. So the symptoms are just there minus the substance abuse, and then the disturbance is not better explained by another mental disorder. So it should meet the criteria of GA, not say like which disorder comes with an. So it must not be explained better by another mental disorder. So the tools for measuring anxiety GAD, the GAD-7 is the 7-item tool that measures the anxiety. So you'll find that in most of these tools, it measures scale for anxiety. So the causes, since today we do practice with we do consider biopsychosocial factors to be the causes of a disorder. So we'll start by social cultural. What social cultural theorists say, they say that GAD is caused by adverse environmental crises in their finances. We have economic breakdown. Let's say we have war, so it will exacerbate the risk for GAD. And then the psychodynamic theorists say that GAD occur when childhood anxiety and resolve are not resolved. Like for instance, neurotic anxiety occurs when the caregiver tries to prevent the child from portraying their impulses. So trying to restrict the child to show the impulsivity, these kids develop anxiety. And moral anxiety occurs when one is punished because of expressing themselves in an impulsive way. So when it is not unresolved, it's it's a risk factor for GAD. And then humanistic theorists say that when people stop looking at themselves honestly and acceptingly, like they deny, there is denial of true thoughts and emotions, extreme anxiety that leads to extreme anxiety and leads to failure to achieve full potential. So, as you know, humanistic theorists say that people usually strive to reach self-actualization. So the moment you start denying the true person you are and start seeing yourself from what others say, it increases the anxiety because at one point you will be so concerned with how you behave in front of people. You wouldn't want to be to be named negatively. So you will tend to be so careful about how you conduct yourself. And this, in one way or another, increases the risk for anxiety disorder. Yes. And then when you come to cognitive theories, so GAD is a result of cognitive distortion. Like like any other mental disorder, cognitive theories say that it results from um, cognitive distortions. So up to there, is there any questions or maybe a point that you didn't understand?
I had a question on the tools. for testing for mental health disorders and specifically for general anxiety disorder. Where can we access these tools?
Okay, so for the GAD7, it's online. You can just get it from Chrome. GAD7 PDF download. You'll be able to download the tool. Also, the Hard and Hamilton rating scale for anxiety. Also, a good place to get these resources is from PDF Drive. From there, you can download, I think, all these tools.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we had talked about what psychodynamic theories say about GAD, and then what humanistic theories say, and cognitive theories, and sociocultural theories. So let's look at biological explanation of anxiety. So biological explanation says that GAD is as a result of inactivity of the GABA in the a neurotransmitter in the brain. Actually, GABA is a inhibitory neurotransmitter. So when there is firing in the brain, GABA plays part in stopping the firing in the brain, in layman's language, to say so. So when there is an inactivity of the GABA, you see there will be a lot of firing in the brain. So by firing, I mean the neurons are going to fire more rapidly, and in one way or another, that way, we know anxiety is a form of sympathetic stimulation. So when there is a lot of firing in the brain, anxiety increases. So GABA is responsible for the relief of anxiety, and the theory suggested that maybe people with GAD have few GABA receptors, or GABA receptors that do not actually capture the NT. So malfunction also. Oh, our meeting will be ending in 10 minutes. We'll rejoin back if we wouldn't have finished. And then also they say that malfunction in the prefrontal cortex, anterior cingulate cortex, and amygdala circuits causes anxiety. So treatment, according to how I have specified my thesis, so according to psychodynamic approach, if there was a conflict from childhood, our management plan here will include free association, resistance dreams, and transference, where you help the client become less afraid of their impulses and settle childhood relationship patterns that cause the anxiety. Yes, and then in the humanistic approach, client-centered therapy, here you offer the patient unconditional positive regard, that is the UPR, and this one helps ease the anxiety. And then cognitive approach, we have REBT, where therapists help the client change their maladaptive assumption, you psychoeducate the client, you teach the client, you use also mindfulness-based cognitive therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy. And then in the biological approach, you use sedative hypnotic drugs, relaxation training, biofeedback, by use of EMG machine. So to that point, is there any question, clarification?
Please clarify on the abbreviations.
Okay. So the abbreviations there that have is GABA. GABA is a gamma aminobutyric a neurotransmitter in the brain, and is a neurotransmitter short hormone. And then REB is rational emotive behavioral, and then FBD is mindful cognitive therapy. ACT is acceptance and commitment therapy. Yes, so anything else to talk about? I realized we were talking about GAD, so the presentation was short because it was just one disorder in the anxiety part of mental disorders. So maybe next time we're going to look at the other anxiety disorders.
I don't have any questions, but the presentation was very insightful and informative. I was able to learn some of the other explanations for the causes of anxiety, and that is helpful in terms of informing the treatment plan for addressing anxiety. I actually have a client later today who's presenting with general anxiety disorder. I liked that the criteria for diagnosis includes the symptoms being present for the last 6 months, because that makes it possible to have a proper diagnosis instead of making an assumption that this client has general anxiety disorder, yet they have been experiencing the symptoms for a significantly short amount of time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I also don't have.
Yes.
I also don't have any questions, but I've gotten a lot of questions that I had previously concerning anxiety answered, especially when it comes to approaches on making and formulating a treatment plan. So it's been very helpful as well. And I will actually use this to go back and do further research. And now with kind of like you've opened up my eyes to see other options that I hadn't thought of before in terms of approaching treatment for anxiety.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being my audience. And to that point, I have a good day unless we